These muscles form the abdominal and thoracic cavities. The pectoralis muscle runs from the left to right side of the frog's chest and helps support the air sac, helping the frog create its mating call. The rectus abdominis runs from the top to the bottom of the abdominal cavity and helps with flexion and extension in an upwards motion. And the external abdominal obliques run along the side of the body and help the frog with flexion and extension from side to side. This muscle that runs along the back of the frog is called the latissimus dorsi. It helps the frog's extension and flexion of its back muscles. This is the biceps femoris. It contradicts the triceps femoris by helping with flexion instead of extension. This helps the frog jump. The muscles of the leg include the sartorius, which is this band right here, the adductor magnus, which runs along here, this muscle, the gracilis major, which is underneath the triceps femoris, the gracilis minor, which is this little band of muscle down here, right there, the adductor longus, which is this muscle, and the triceps femoris, which is this bigger muscle that runs along the leg, all make up a frog's ability to jump higher and for longer distances. The muscles of the bottom half of the leg include the gastrocnemius, the peroneus, which runs behind the gastrocnemius, the tibialis anterior longus runs along the front of the frog's hind leg, the extensor curis, which runs behind the tibialis anterior, and the tibialis posterior, which runs behind the gastrocnemiae.
Reproductive organ in a frog is the ovary. This is a female frog. And then here's the eggs that it produced. It's a lot of them. And then when the eggs are ready to come out, they just go out through the cloaca. Reproduction is external. A male hops on a female's back and wraps his legs around her stomach or her body. And then as she's dropping the eggs out of her cloaca, he is releasing sperm onto the eggs to fertilize them. The kidneys filter out nitrogen waste or metabolic waste, and it goes down the ureter into the bladder. And once the bladder builds up enough pressure, the metabolic or nitrogen waste comes out the cloaca.
While completely submerged, all of a frog's respiration takes place through the skin. The skin is composed of a thin membranous tissue that is permeable to water and contains a large network of blood vessels that runs throughout. The thin membranous skin allows the respiratory gases to readily diffuse directly down their gradients between the blood vessels and their surroundings. When the frog is out of water, mucus glands in the skin help to keep the frog moist, which helps absorb dissolved oxygen from the air. A frog may also breathe much like a human by taking in air through their nostrils, down through their internal nares, and into their lungs, located right here, this little dark thing. In order to draw in air into its mouth, the frog lowers the floor of its jaw, the bottom jaw, which causes the throat to expand. When the nostrils open, allowing air to enter, it passes through the trachea and down to the lungs. The nostrils then close, and the air into the mouth is forced into the lungs by contraction of the floor to the mouth. To eliminate the carbon dioxide in the lungs, the floor of the mouth moves down, drawing the air out of the lungs and into its mouth. Finally, the nostrils are opened to the floor and moved up by pushing air throughout the nostrils. When a frog speaks, it takes in air and goes through the glottis and through the larynx into the glottis, where it controls the vocal cords. Eating. They use their upper jaw to hold on to their prey. It is not used for biting or chewing at all. Digestion. Frogs catch their food with their tongue, swallow the food, then goes into the stomach, then into the small intestines to be broken down. It is then moved to the large intestine where the water is reabsorbed and then routed to the cloaca. The waste are then exited through the cloaca. Excretion. Frogs excrete their waste through a body part known as the cloaca. It is a body part of the frog system where urine and other body waste go out. This is the maxillary teeth, and then this is the vomerine teeth, and that helps it choose the food. And then this is the tongue, it helps catch food and choose it. This is the esophagus, where the food goes onto the stomach. And the stomach helps it store the food, and then it goes to the stomach through the intestines. Then this green thing is the gallbladder, and that stores bile. And then right here is the pancreas, and that controls blood sugar. And then right here is the cloaca, and that's where the food is excreted.
Frogs have a closed circulatory system. They have one ventricle and two atrium, and they pump blood throughout the body to keep it well oxygenated.
Arm of the frog, you have a suprascapula, which is the shoulder blade. Then you have that connecting to the humerus, which then connects to the radial ulna. In the hand of the frog, you have carpals at the base of the hand. Then you have metacarpals here. Then in the finger you have phalange bones. There's 3 phalange bones here. The proximal, the medial, then the distal bones, phalanges. Looking at the rest of the skeleton of the frog, you see right here, this is the clavicle. Then if you move down the backbone, you have your sacral vertebra, which connect to the iliums right here. Then in the middle, it connects the urostyle. And then if you go further down, you see right here the ischium, which is similar to our tailbone. Looking at the frog's leg, it is very similar to what humans have. We both have a femur, which is located right here. This is the one that comes right out of the skeleton, right here. You have the femur connecting to the tibiofibula. In humans, we have 2 bones that are right here, called the tibia and the fibula. Moving on down, you have your astragalus and calcaneus bones, which are similar to the bones in our heel. Then into the foot, you have here tarsals, which connect to the metatarsals, these bigger bones right here. Then you have your 3 phalange bones again, your proximal, medial, and distal phalanges.